everyone, today I've got your Once Upon a Time in Hollywood movie review. Once upon a time, there was a golden age of Hollywood. But did the stars live happily ever after? So as far as the story goes, Quentin Tarantino directs this movie set in the 1960s, where it consecutively tells the stories of celebrities trying to make it big in Hollywood. Now, while I'm not a huge fan of a lot of Quentin Tarantino films, I have seen some of them, and they've become some of my favorites. And with this movie in particular, it uses narration to in this storytelling sort of way that is well executed in describing the goings on in Hollywood of this era. Whether or not some of the events in this movie are portrayed accurately, it does shed light on the prelude to the Manson murders, and while that's not at the forefront of this movie, which included Sharon Tate, who was a victim of the Manson murders, it showed how demanding a big Hollywood star's role is and how they handle working on a set and living in this sort of atmosphere. And I've been to Hollywood, so I kind of know, what that all looks like. And with this movie, it felt very authentic and detailed, especially set in the 1960s. So you really get immersed in this world, in this era, and I thought it was all, pretty well done in that aspect. Now, as far as the casting goes, you've got Leonardo DiCaprio, who plays Rick Dalton. He's this actor who's, got a lot of roles under his belt, and he, is very good in this movie, and he definitely plays off this character in a more over-the-top way. And I mean, hey Leo, I know you're an Oscar winner now, so maybe you could stop being this over-the-top actor, but you were still pretty good in this movie, especially next to Brad Pitt, who I'm not a huge fan of, but he plays Leo's stunt double, who is also a good friend to him, to his character, and he was most enjoyable to watch, and I was really surprised, and I actually found him to be a better character out of the two guys, and just found him to be more relatable. And you also have other actors in this movie, like Margot Robbie, who plays Sharon Tate, and I thought she was also good in her role, trying to figure out, who she is in Hollywood, and there's just star power galore. I mean, there's so many actors that I know of that are in this movie. I mean, it's literally, you can't miss them. You've got the late Luke Perry, Kurt Russell, Timothy Olyphant, Dakota Fanning, and just many more people. I mean, there was this one girl child actress in, should I say actor, she says this in the movie, was hilarious in that one scene she shared with Leo, and I thought that was just crazy. And even the guy who plays Bruce Lee, I thought was pretty awesome as well. Now, the things that I liked about this movie was that it was entertaining as all heck. I mean, the comedic moments were strategically placed and gave this movie a more realistic feel, because it all just felt so natural coming from the actors as far as the dialogue goes. And it also made me question if I want to take a time machine to the 1960s, because it all just looked and felt just as if you were in the 1960s with the music and the soundtrack. It didn't feel like a typical Quentin Tarantino movie, and I actually liked it a little bit more because of that, at least until the third act of the movie, which was crazy unexpected. I did not see it coming, but it was over the top and pretty intense, but it was also very funny, and I definitely laughed throughout that entire scene. Now, unfortunately, the things that I didn't really like about this movie was that it did drag on and on about things that didn't add much to the overall plot, and I was like, okay, this movie is like over 2.5 hours long. I'm just like, I'm getting kind of bored, but not really. It's just sort of tiring to watch, sort of like the same thing going on, but not really going anywhere, and that was the only bummer of it all, and it made me sort of not like certain parts of the movie. But overall, I would say this is a pretty well done film, and while I haven't seen every single Quentin Tarantino movie, I would say this is, you know, it could be one of my favorites. I'd have to actually see all of them to put them all in a ranking order, but I would still recommend seeing this movie, and I would give this 4.5 hearts on the heart rate scale. So let me know in the comments what you guys thought of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. How would this movie rank up against other Quentin Tarantino films? And as always, you guys can subscribe to my channel. I've got more movie reviews, movie updates, come back every week for a Chill Thursday video. You guys can also like me on Facebook and follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you guys later.